Mm. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Shreshtam Manumapi Satriputram Atra Swarupam Rupam Tasya Grajamarupurim Mathurim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Gidivaram Maho Radhikamadhavasam Praptu Yasya Pratithagripaya Sri Gurum Tannatusmi Vanchakalpataru Kripa Sindhubhyaiva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Nikhilashruti Male Ratnamaladhyuti Nirajita Padapankajanta Ajimuktakulairupashyamanam Paritastram Harinam Samshrayami Kilodunitahi Daya Vishadaya Pranmiladamodaya Sasvakshastra Vibhadaya Rasadaya Chitarapitun Madaya Sasvat Bhakti Vinodaya Shamadaya Madhurya Maryadaya Sri Chaitanya Nidedaya Tavadaya Bhuyadamandodaya Janulambita Bhujo Kanakavadato Sankirtanaikapitero Kamalaya Takshu Vishwambaro Duyavaro Jugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Hladini Shakti Swarupai Gauranga Suridaya Cha Bhakta Shakti Pradhanaya Gadadhara Namostute Rasagana Mohana Murtim Vichitra Keli Mahotsavulasitam Radha Charana Viloditam Ruchirashikandam Harim Bande Vrindavaneshwari Tavaiva Padara Vindam Premamritaikamakarundaraso Ghapurnam Hridyarpitam Madhupatir Smaratapamogram Nirbapayat Paramashritalamashrayami Bhaktya Vihinaya Paradhalakshay Kshiptasyakamaditarangamadhye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanam Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Swastyastu Vishwasya Khalo Prasidatham Dhyayantu Bhutani Shivanmitodaya Manashtabhadram Bhajatara Dokshaye Vishitam Namatirapiya Haituki Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Nishrim Bhagavan Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Gaudiya Vaishnava Guru Parampara Ki Jai, Sadhu Sangha Ki Jai, Gaur Praman. Hmm. Good evening to all. Welcome. Thank you for coming. We are having our last gathering, at least for me, during these 2 days here. I'm very happy to be sharing with all of you and yeah, continuing to reflect about the implications of sadhu sangas. We have been talking recently in Davos in Switzerland. And I always like to share that example in every place I go in case you did not know this definition. Once someone asked Srila Bhakti Goswami Maharaj, what's sadhu sangha? And he quoted Napoleon. Napoleon? Yeah, Napoleon. Narottam cannot believe me. And even more strangely, he referred to it the Napoleon chair. So what's the Napoleon chair? Can you say something about sadhu sangha? The Napoleon chair. What? So he said once Napoleon was with his army and they had to spend the night in one place without the roof, and it was snowing. So the danger was if they fall asleep in the snow, they will not wake up next day. So how to survive the cold night? So he put them all standing in front of each other in a circle. And he suddenly said, okay, now when I clap my fingers, you just sit. Like if you were to sit in a chair, but everyone has to do the same. So you sit, and you will be sitting in the one who is behind you, and the one in front of you will be sitting on top of you. So everyone will be giving support to someone and receiving support from someone. That's sadhusanga, he says. So beautiful. Sadhusanga means supporting and giving support simultaneously to each other. And so in circle, a common circle with a common center. As we said the other day, Rupa Goswami speaks about the Priti Lakshanam, the loving interactions between Vaishnavas, and he mentions three things in reciprocal ways: giving and receiving, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. Prasad, gifts, heart, but it's giving and receiving. Someone is sitting on you, you are sitting on someone. You're giving, you are receiving. That's how we can survive the snowy, dark night of the soul, if you will. Nourishing each other, accompanying each other. So thank you for providing me a seat to sit on during these days with all of you. Hopefully I did my best to be a chair for whomever was in front of me in the circle. So in the context of, that sadhusanga, that sharing, giving and receiving, you're invited to bring any topic, gift, the assembly with with your curiosity, with your sincere inquiry, whatever you may like to explore. If you would like to go deeper into something, and I cannot warranty that we will go deeper, we will try our best, right? So any questions, any quests, doubt, crisis, revelation, ecstasy, you name it. The door is open. What's your name?
It's Madhava Priya Devidas.
Madhava Priya Devidas. Welcome.
Thank you so much for coming here to our community. Bless us.
Thank you for inviting me. I don't appear uninvited, so thank you for the invitation.
And you followed the invitation.
Sorry, what?
But you followed the invitation.
Yeah.
No, I hope that we will become like a place on your list next year also.
That's a challenge, because every year there are new places that are asking exactly this. And my year keeps having 365 days. So it's not expanding as the number of invitations. So we'll try our best.
Yeah, it's a long time I'm listening to you on YouTube. So for me, it's a great honor to be in your presence. And I have a question about receiving guidance from Shiksha Gurus. In a way, like in the past, we have been kind of educated to take shelter of our Diksha Guru and exclusively take their guidance. And but in the experience and by the years that go by, we feel so much more need of personal guidance, and that is often not possible for our Diksha Gurus because they are having many disciples. And we come to that point of like, if we don't receive personal guidance, we become stuck in our spiritual life and we feel we don't make enough progress. But I personally don't really understand how do we combine then the Shiksha guidance from different devotees and, the respect to our Diksha Guru and like if you could talk a little bit about the necessity of the shiksha gurus in our spiritual advancement, especially when we become a little bit more mature devotees.
Okay. Thank you for the question. So as usual, what I will say is I will give a general answer, because many times behind the question there's always another question, which is more personal, more specific. Many times I'm not saying, so I cannot get there because I don't know those details, so I can just give the general answer, trusting your discernment that you will apply that specifically to your journey with proper discernment. So of course, diksha, siksha, in one sense, those two are two departments of the same house. Let's put it that way. They're not separate from each other. Or as we were saying, I think earlier today or yesterday, guru is one. No, that's not easy to understand sometimes. That's why sometimes it's a guru tattva is one of the most difficult tattvas to understand, which means that's one of the easiest to misunderstand. And one of the things we most easily misunderstand is that we sometimes hyper-localize guru in one single figure. And we kind of amputate that person from all the other representations of guru tattva. So it's important. Our philosophy is achintya bheda aved, right? There's always this unity and diversity coexisting at the same time. And it's a principle that operates in so many levels. And one of them is guru tattva. Guru is one, and there are many individual agents that represent the agency of Guru Tattva. So Guru is one truth, one agency, samasti Guru in Sanskrit, and then you have vyasti, the agents of the Guru department. It's like you have the police agent and the police department. And sorry, I don't want to compare Guru with the policeman, like he's like micromanaging or anything. Just was the first example that came to my mind. So it's the department, and the agent is expected to represent the department, right? So diksha and siksha, of course, for many, the natural thing is, okay, have a diksha guru, and in many cases, I'm not saying most cases or all cases, but in many cases, the diksha guru becomes the main siksha guru. No, I'm not saying one scenario is better than other. There are different possibilities. But as you say, in some cases, one may have a diksha guru, and for whatever reason, many disciples or whatever. Let's say you got a diksha guru, and unfortunately, the diksha guru passed very soon after. That happens sometimes. So you may feel the need of, again, receiving guidance, instruction, but your diksha guru is no longer present or not too much available in terms of time. So can I connect with other agents of the department? Yeah, there's place for that. Of course, at the same time, Jiva Goswami speaks about this in detail in his Bhakti Sandarbha. He said that should be done in a way that is honoring your connection with your Diksha Guru. No? Because if not, we become like whimsical in this. Like, okay, I took initiation from someone, and then like I'm hearing from 300 other people, and they're all my Siksha Gurus, and it's like, it shouldn't be that casual. Sometimes people write to me and tell me, oh, Maharaj, I've been listening to your class for years. You are my Siksha Guru. I'm like, oh, really? Nobody told me that before. I thought it was a mutual decision, right? Like, do I have a choice in the matter? I mean, not because I'm rejecting the person, but just like sometimes we take it, oh, I hear a lecture of yours and it inspires me. So now I decided you are my Siksha Guru. But it's not so much like that. It's not like one class, one I don't know, YouTube short. He's my Siksha Guru now. It's generally like a mutual relationship, right? So maybe there's no like a ceremony to establish someone as your Siksha Guru, although there could be, if it helps to create but it should be some mutual consent, so to say, right? So, and Jiva Goswami says, if you have a Diksha Guru, and of course you took that voluntary decision by yourself, and you are well related to your Diksha Guru, there's a healthy connection, there's nothing wrong going on, but you need that connection and it's not available in terms of time. Somehow you, ideally, Jiva Goswami says, and again, I'm talking in a very general template. Every case could be more specific, but Jiva Goswami said you should go to your Diksha Guru and present the case, and hopefully you have at least time to speak with your Diksha Guru about that. And somehow, if you are inspired with someone, ideally should be in such a way that your connection with your Diksha Guru doesn't become like affected negatively, right? If you have a connection with your Diksha Guru, you are inspired, you feel nourished, you feel, how to say, you honor that connection. Ideally, whomever may be a Siksha Guru shouldn't be someone who is disturbing your faith in your Diksha Guru, to put it in that way. You follow the idea so far? So that should happen in that way. And there should be place for that. No? Of course, if one is sincere, in my opinion, the Diksha Guru should, if the Diksha Guru is not available to offer that presence and time and guidance on him, whatever the disciple needs it, there should be the possibility of opening the doors for some other connections, because if not, it's a little bit complicated. Like, okay, I initiate you, but I won't be able to talk to you anymore from this moment onward, and you cannot hear from anyone else. It's like a little bit complicated. So yeah, that place should be there, as long as there is again a coherence or alignment. Doesn't mean that both gurus will be the same person. That doesn't make any sense. No? Like, for example, I remember when Srila Prabhupada was almost passing, we talked about that in the morning, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj and other devotees were there massaging his feet, and they asked him, because they knew probably Prabhupada's passing is coming soon, so is there anyone to whom we could go to get siksha from in your absence? He said, my god brother, Srila Siddhar Maharaj from Navadvip. So many went to Srila Siddhar Maharaj, following Prabhupada's instruction. Many became very inspired and connected. And of course, Srila Siddhar Maharaj always honored Prabhupada. He was never like, I don't know, taking people from ISKCON or disturbing people's faith in Prabhupada. On the contrary, they were close friends and so on. But many went to Srila Siddhar Maharaj expecting him to be exactly like Srila Prabhupada, right? And they were like, oh no, he's different than Prabhupada. Of course. each individual is unique. No, it would be absurd to expect I go to a second person to hear exactly what the other person says. No, for that you have Prabhupada already. No, so he sent you to someone else, and that someone else, Prabhupada, knows him. They lived together for years, and he knows they are different. Like anyone is different, but they're also very much connected. So my point was, sometimes we have this idealization. Okay, a Siksha Guru should be like a copy, basically, like a replica of the Diksha Guru, and should move in the same way and talk in the same way. No? You have, for that you have AI. You can create some model with that. But in human terms, Diksha Guru and Siksha Guru, if they are two different people, maybe different, but at least they have to be complementary, basically, right? Because again, at the end of the day, Diksha, Siksha, they are functions of the Guru principle. So even if they are different individuals, ideally they are all serving the same thing, which is the heart or the faith of the disciple. That's the role of the Guru. Guru's role is to serve the Shraddha of the disciple. No? The Guru is not the owner of the disciple or stuff like that. The Guru is a servant of the disciple's faith. So whatever helps to nourish that faith in the best way, Gurus will be ideally working together to what's the best thing to serve the faith of that disciple. No problem. It's not like a competition. No, he's mine. He has to be inspired with me, not with you. No, that shouldn't happen. There will be a working together of them. Like, for example, I remember once, again, different examples. There was one devotee who had been initiated by one guru like 30 years ago, at the time where, as you may know, there were some problems with some devotees serving in the role of guru. So he was initiated and reinitiated like 4 times or something. And he was still sincerely dedicated, which I appreciate. Again, I can relate to that. And at one point he was initiated again by someone and they had a good relationship, but for some reason the disciple was not able to draw the inspiration he needed. And the one who was his guru at the time, he knowing from which traumatic experience the disciple came, he felt, I think for him what works, even if it's an external detail, he needs an Indian guru who is old. No, because the guru thought I'm closer to him in age. Again, it's a secondary relative detail, but somehow sometimes we need some of those things. Sanatana Goswami says in Hari Bhakti Vilas, if you are a Sudra, ideally connect with a Sudra guru. If you are Brahmin, with a Brahmin guru. Again, it's not a law, but like implying it may help because there will be a similar mindset and language. It's relative. It doesn't need to be always like that, but sometimes that can help. So this guru thought, actually, I think he needs to connect with an old Indian sadhu. That's what his faith will require. So he thought about Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, god brother of Srila Prabhupada, who at the time was like 100 years old. He was old. He lived till 102. He was very much revered by everyone in the Gaudiya community as a very saintly personality. I mean, if you never saw anything from him, you just Google, put one video of him, tap, after 10 seconds, 5 seconds, you realize, well, this is a very deep, humble personality. So, so this guru sent his disciple to Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj and said, please take mantra again from him. His own guru. I can feel that with me, nothing is wrong, but it's not working as you need, as your faith needs. Go to him. And the disciple went because he acknowledged, I realized there is something. So he went to Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj and asked, please. But Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj said, but you are initiated already, right? Yes. By whom? Such and such person. So I cannot give you initiation again because he's your guru. I mean, I won't transgress that. No, but my guru sent me. Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj like curious. So bring your guru. I want to be sure that I'm not transgressing the etiquette of re-giving mantra to someone who received some mantra from. You follow my point? So then his guru came and said, no, I sent him to you. So okay, then he agreed to give shelter. So for me, that's a nice example of how gurus working together to just honor the faith of the disciple, whatever works best. It's not so much still my disciple, still your disciple, is in this mission, is in that institution, but whatever nourishes best the heart. At the end of the day, there are no institutions in Golok Vrindavan, right? It's just a heart exchange. As I always like to say, we actually never join an institution. We can only join a heart. I mean, we may be affiliated to an institution, have nothing against institutions, but at the end of the day, it's not about an institution. It's about heart connection with other individuals. So sometimes I connect with one heart, and that heart happens to be affiliated with one institution, and I end up in that institution because I joined that heart first. Then I joined the institution in a more relative level, but I join a heart. If we forget that part and it only becomes like an external affiliation, where is the internal affiliation, right? So that will be for me the general idea in terms of diksha and siksha, right? And to be, of course, always again respectful and careful with whatever connections devotees may have with I don't know, if someone has a Diksha Guru already, honoring that, if everything is in place, if there is no like abuse or deviation or trauma, which sometimes is the case, so each case is unique. That's why I'm saying I'm talking in general. But if everything is in place, that has to be honored. No? Yeah, I don't know if that helps. I'm missing something you may like me to elaborate on.
Like, at least I personally am still not aware of having the possibility to meet devotees who openly say I am available as a shiksha guru, so that it's kind of not clear, at least not in our institution, how do we recognize?
By our institution, you mean?
I mean,
ISKCON. Okay, I didn't know. Yeah.
It is not clear to us, at least not to me, so I speak personally, how do we can meet senior devotees and be inspired by them, but that doesn't mean that automatically they will say, I can be your shiksha guide, so how like I'm a little bit bewildered when we are in that point of asking shiksha guidance from someone, what is the right behavior and how that person behaves towards us who are, asking the guidance.
Yeah.
Like, what is their kind of position? How do we deal with that?
Maybe I'm too simplistic, but for me, it should be like a natural, organic development. Not like you eventually know someone, meet someone, hear from someone, and that person inspires you, and you start to connect with that person gradually, and at one point you feel the inspiration to see that person as a Siksha Guru in your life, and you express that to the person. For me, it's not so much an institutional thing, and who is. I don't see that like someone, as you mentioned, like announcing themselves, I'm available as a Siksha Guru. No, like it. I mean, everyone can be a Siksha Guru in one sense. No, it doesn't need to be like, well, you can only have as a Siksha Guru those who are officially appointed as Siksha Gurus. No, it's just an affair of the heart. No, someone I can be inspired with someone that most people do not see them as a even senior or whatever, but that person becomes very honest. And you follow my point? So at least for me, that's how it works. No? For me, it will feel a little strange, like I don't know, I'm me writing a post like I'm available as a Siksha Guru. 3 spots free, just in case. But it's funny because we are laughing, but I remember once, and probably it happened more than once, but I heard someone making a post, not as a Siksha, but a Diksha. I've decided that from now on, I will start initiating disciples. Like, just in case, send me private message. And it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know. For me, it feels strange, right? For me, all those things have to happen naturally. No, like a connection with someone has to be, again, nobody can tell you who is your guru, basically. Ideally, in my opinion. I cannot tell you you should be initiated by that person, which basically means you should be inspired by that person. What if I'm not inspired by that person? No. You should take siksha from that person. What if my heart doesn't resonate for whatever reason? It's not that the person has a problem, it's just there has to be a natural connection. And that may take time. It's not that immediately I felt that, oh, wow, that's my siksha. Maybe you know the person for years and eventually you gradually open and the relationship develops. So for me, that's how it works in my mind. It shouldn't be something like, okay, stamped, approved. Okay, that person can be your siksha guru, but just if we are honest, as we were talking today in the morning, and as a disciple, as a student, no, if we're really sincerely looking for the truth, we will find those people who nourish our search, so to say. This is famous verse written by Rupa Goswami. I think I quoted that these days. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati Kriyatam Yadi Kutopi Labhyate Tatra Laulem Apye Kalam Molyam Janma Kot Shukritaya Labhyate. Try to become immersed. This is a verse that Prabhupada said that he became inspired by this verse to name his society Krishna Consciousness Society. Speaking about Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati, to have your intelligence drenched, immersed in Krishna Bhakti Rasa. Wherever you find someone immersed in that, go for it. So the spirit of the verse is, if you are honestly, passionately looking for the truth, and you find someone who is matching your search in terms of guidance and inspiration, let your thirst be your guide, so to say. And other considerations are all secondary. As long as you are sincere. Again, I'm not saying here, be an anarchist and do whatever you like without any consideration, but just if you're honest and sincere and your search is being, your thirst is being quenched in this direction or another, at the end of the day, that's the most important consideration. I hope that helps.
Yes, it helps, because I understood that Shiksha guidance is very important for sincere, so to advance. It's because it's more personal kind of approach.
Yeah, but again, it's something that you have to choose who inspires you because you have to be open and to be sincere and to be vulnerable and to trust that person. So, and the person has also to be willing to enter into that relationship. So again, all this may take some time. It has to evolve naturally, not so much like, okay, that person appointed your Siksha Guru. You go there. It's like, who is that person? That's your guru. Open yourself fully to that person. I don't know that person. Trust that person. I don't trust that person. Or I don't know that person. It's not that nothing wrong, but it has to be a process, right? So yeah, we all need guidance. But siksha also can come in many ways, no? So also we have to be careful not to limit siksha to one siksha guru. I mean, you ultimately, and I know this may sound a little bit too much, too universal, but everything is your siksha guru. Like life circumstances are siksha guru. No? People in your life are siksha guru. Of course, there may be an official siksha guru that you feel I'm specially connected with. But as we said the other day, the more you connect with a particular guru who nourishes you, that guru will show you how many more gurus are there, till the point that you find guru everywhere. Because as Srila Semara said, we are to enter into
the land of gurus.
Very good. We were rehearsing that before the class. When I say that, you say. No? Srila Semara will say we are to enter into a land of gurus. Vaikuntera Prithiviyadi Sakala Chinmaya, says Chaitanya Charitamrita. From Vaikuntha upwards, even the soil is transcendental substance. It's a transcendental and it's your Siksha Guru. Every grain of sand in Golok Vrindavan is Siksha Guru. So gradually we have to learn to find Guru everywhere, ideally. As we said the other day, Bhagavatam gives 24 Siksha Gurus. 21 are elements of nature. 3 are human beings. 1 is a baby, 1 is a little girl, the 3rd is a prostitute. And the Bhagavatam says you have to find Siksha Guru and all that. No? Bilba Mangal Thakur, the famous author of Krishna Karnamrita, book that Mahaprabhu will relish and he brought from South India, he begins the book offering pranam to all his gurus. His first guru he offers pranamis to Chintamani, who was a prostitute, if you know the story. And he considers this prostitute his Siksha Guru. And he includes her in the pranam of the book. No? So again, Bhagavatam says, yeah, prostitute can be your Siksha Guru. There you have Bilpa Mangal Thakur.
What did he learn from her?
What did he learn from her? A few things, not only one thing. But yeah, it's a long story, but basically he was not behaving that properly at that time, let's put it that way. He went to a prostitute, and the prostitute basically enlightened him, like saying, "What are you doing here?" "No, I'm coming to your beauty and this and that." And basically the prostitute suddenly started to instruct him, like, "My beauty, this is beauty. I mean, real beauty is this. And he had like an epiphany, realizing, wow, Krishna is talking to me through a prostitute. No? So he accepted. Not to get too much into the details of the whole story, not to go there, but yeah. So yeah, again, we may look for a Siksha Guru, but we have to be careful in that, not to think, okay, only this person is my Siksha Guru, and I have nothing else to learn from anyone else. No. So Guru is, again, Guru is universal, it's localized, but also it's a universal principle. So we have our localized agents that are instructing us, teaching us, but if you are a good student, after learning the lesson from your localized guru, let's say, you go through life and you start to find, hopefully, gurus teaching situations, circumstances everywhere. Ultimately, everything is trying to teach you something. Mahaprabhu looking at the grass, finding guru grass there. Guru in the grass, looking at the tree, oh, whole parampara in nature. Yeah, we may not be able to imitate that yet, but it's good to keep in mind. Guru is everywhere, ultimately. Guidance is everywhere. Yeah. Narada.
I have one little question.
Yes.
With some friends, we were speaking about Shastra and Guru, all of that, how that relates, what we should follow really. For example, in our case with Prabhupada says some things according to certain cases, but Shastra said another things. So in a ideal scenario, I think we should follow Shastra, but if Guru says something, we have to change that. And what things, upon what Gurus, because now you're mentioning Gurus, I was wondering what Guru should we follow? If this person is saying this, is for saying some way, like it would be my Diksha Guru, but it's Siksha Guru that knows my situation better, is explaining and telling me another not totally different soul, but something different. What should I follow? That's fine.
We enter into the realm of nuance and complexity. Yeah, that's why I said it's, of course, again, still we are talking in general, though you're giving me a more specific example, but we are not going, in this situation, this happened to me, and this, I was told this, and I was told that. Yeah, a few things, because there are like 5 questions inside that question. It's okay. So Shastra is teaching certain things, and ideally, and Prabhupada says that in many places, there's specifically one purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita. He speaks quite strongly about that, how in one sense Shastra is the main point of reference when we say Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. Because Guru and Sadhu are supposed to be based on Shastra. So it's not like, okay, to give you an example, I don't know, Shastra teaches the soul is eternal. It's not that the Guru said the soul is no longer eternal. Okay, so Shastra is outdated now. Though things do not change, right? Of course, sometimes the Guru may adjust some teaching in some specific case, but that shouldn't be absolutized to the point that, oh, this replaces Shastra now. You want me to give you a controversial example of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was feeling that in the air. Okay. Shastra teaches that nobody falls from the spiritual world. You wanted, well, you wanted something controversial. There you have it. Prabhupada at times says we fell from the spiritual world. But Prabhupada at times says nobody falls from the spiritual world. Whoops. Right? So the thing here is, it's not like, okay, so as we say the other day, I will select the one that I like the most. That's not the way to ascertain Siddhanta. So the teaching in the scripture is clear. There's no falling from the spiritual world. What can make you fall from the spiritual world? That's an infallible plane, achyuta. So anyhow, I won't go into all the arguments and details. And I'm not trying here to convince any of you. If you think otherwise, It's fine. I'm not trying here to enter any battle. It's totally fine. But it's clear that there are differences of opinions. So we have to do some. I mean, my first book is similar, another topic, but is bhakti inherent in the jiva or not? In my opinion, Shastra clearly says no. And there's lots of, I try to compile all the evidence. We have the potential to receive bhakti and relate to Krishna, but it's not that we have a predetermined rasa already inserted in the soul, so to say. That's the second part of my book. That's my indirect way of promoting my book. No, that's the thing. And again, not only Prabhupada, other acharyas have said different things. Not only one thing, they have said different things about the same topic at different times. So again, it's complex, right? It's not like, oh, why it's not just one thing, so I don't get confused. Because sometimes, again, teachers may adjust some teaching according to time, place, and circumstance. And I try to show in my book how before all this, all of the jiva or bhakti inherit, even before that, there's a story in our tradition of great teachers adjusting, presenting the teaching in certain ways to consideration of time, place, and circumstance. We have Buddha, who is Krishna himself, not speaking about God, basically. No, you have Sankaracharya, who is Shiva. When the Bhagavatam is described as Vaishnavanam Jata Sambhu, the great Vaishnav preaching impersonalism, radical non-dualism, as I will say. Ultimately, only Brahman is real. Bhagavan, Bhakti, that's temporary. And that's Shiva, a great Vaishnava. So it's an emergency case. They are adjusting the presentation for time, place, and circumstance. No, you have, I don't know, Narad Muni telling the hunter, like, okay, the killer, like, you just recite Mara, 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 death, 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 death. You chant this mantra. It's not, okay, let's start a new Sampradaya, the death Sampradaya. And we will not chant Mahamantra anymore. We will just chant death. Because Narad Muni once did that. No, that was very specific. Because that person loved death. You say chant Mara, but he knew the more you chant Mara, you end up chanting Rama. No, Mara, 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 Rama. So there was some trickery going on there, transcendental trickery. No? So at times our teachers may adjust the teaching in consideration of a particular capacity of the audience. Because again, let's be honest, we may not have the capacity to understand everything from the beginning. No? Especially like a topic like this, the origin of the soul. That's complicated. No? Just to say the soul has not a beginning. How much can you think about something that does not have a beginning? Smoke starts to come. So I can understand how some teachers, in my opinion, could like not go too much into that or give a more general answer to not get students too distracted or entangled by something. Trusting in time we can talk about those things more in detail, but first have this in place. Let's get this basis. Like Prabhupada himself in the beginning in 26th Avenue, New York, where he started with Matchless Gifts, his first lectures were all about Chaitanya Charitamrita. Over there, high theology. Because he loved Chaitanya Charitamrita, that's our treasure among other treasures. But he, after a few lectures, realized, oh, this is too much for them. Let's bring it down. Like example I gave of the Dalai Lama. Oh no, let's heal self-hatred first. No? So we can see that sometimes there is an adjusting of the presentation, but that doesn't replace the original Siddhanta. And Prabhupada himself says that. So that's one part of my answer. Of course, it's not the whole question that you made. But then we may have, again, you ask Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, sometimes the Diksha Guru has some opinion or way of doing something, and the Siksha Guru may be slightly different. As I say, ideally, whomever we connect as a Siksha Guru should be with some blessing from the Diksha Guru. So the Diksha, I mean, there is some teamwork going on there. So we don't get that confused, because if my Diksha Guru has a certain way of doing things and my Siksha Guru is absolutely different, I may get confused. And maybe the two of them are very nice, very good, well-intentioned, nothing bad, but there are different ways of being a Gaudiya Vaishnava, even different lineages or different practices. And I'm not saying one is better, one is worse, but in those differences, we may not be able to integrate that, to accommodate. So there should be some tact in how to, in whom we connect with, right? Like, to give you an example, and I won't get into names, but of course, I'm personally, my DNA, so to say, in my own particular, in this lifetime with Gaudiya Vaishnavism is through the line of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, no? Bhaktivinoda Parivar, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Siddhar Maharaj. That's very much my bloodline internally. And of course, I know Vaishnava from many other groups, almost every other group. I'm happy to have those connections. But in some groups, I know that they will consider that the lineage we belong, for example, is not bona fide. Some people think like that. They think your lineage is not bona fide. You cannot attain. I was talking once to a Babaji that I appreciate, but he told me, I think, yeah, I asked him, what's your opinion on this lineage? I don't think it's bona fide. And what do you mean by that? I don't think you can attain the ultimate gift of Mahaprabhu. Okay. I mean, he was honest. I appreciate he was honest because sometimes you can be, say, thank you. But I disagree with that. That's not a detail for me. So that, I mean, I'm not hating that person. I'm not criticizing that person, but that's a big difference. So as much as I appreciate that person in many other ways, I take a respectful distance, because you follow my point? So in the same way, if we have Diksha Guru, Siksha Guru, it has to be in a way that is coherent, that our faith is nourished. And if there may be some difference of opinion on some, again, more relative external detail, which is not like a big thing, we should also have some maturity to understand, okay, these are different people, basically, but there is no real conflict, if that's the case. And in some cases, of course, we may need to speak with them. Oh, Siksha Gurudev, so to say, my Diksha Guru, actually he told me like this, and you are telling me like this. I'm confused. I know there is probably no actual conflict, but I need some way of harmonizing this. Can you help me with that? That's part also of the relationship. Even sometimes it happens not with the Diksha and Siksha Guru, just with the same person who says something at one point and another point says something else, and it's like, yeah. And it doesn't mean necessarily that the person is contradicting, it's just that I don't have the capacity to put these two things together. And it's good that we express that, not that we are ashamed to tell that, because my guru will see that I'm a fool, or will notice that. I mean, we don't want to perform perfect in front of the guru. So, and I know those situations may come at times, but yeah, it's good that we can voice them in a healthy way, not creating a drama if there is no actual drama, but also not repressing. I shouldn't be confused. I shouldn't have these doubts. I have to be fully loyal, but there is something that is making some noise. So we may need to express that in a respectful, healthy way. And maybe by doing that many times, okay, it was not that of a problem. But until and unless you take it out of the closet, it can really create disturbance. So again, I'm talking in general. We are not addressing specific cases that maybe require more specific, personalized treatment, so to say. But it's good to normalize these situations, because those things happen, right? And it's not that you are an unchaste disciple because you are experiencing that. No, it may be just a natural way of relationships, or trying to understand the person better, what seems contradictory on one level may not be contradictory on another level. But each one of us have our own capacity of harmonizing things. In the beginning, so many things are contradictory. In the beginning, we are more black and white. Right? This is a legal, bona fide, correct way. Everything else is whatever word you want to label that. Profane, right? Mundane or non-bogus. Bogus, you say? Black and white. Then you start to realize, oh, there's so much nuance in between. How to accommodate? Oh, that was a contradiction. Now it's no longer a contradiction. I can coexist with these two things at the same time. Oh, I feel that's even expanding my heart and my mind. Okay, this was not so much of a problem. I don't know, for example, recently I did a podcast with a sannyasi from the Ramakrishna mission. And I know for some people it's like, he's a Mayavadi. Don't talk to him. And I myself would have taken that stance maybe decades ago. But now I feel I can have a conversation with this gentleman and learn quite a lot as I did. And vice versa, it was mutual. It doesn't mean that I'm leaving Gaudiya Vaishnavism or that I'm trying to convert him into my tradition, but we can just have a civilized conversation among two human beings. But I understand maybe in day one, we may need to first be properly rooted in your own traditions so you can know where you are standing on, and then you can relate to the diversity outside your own tribe with proper roots. Even other Gaudiya Vaishnava groups, which there's lots of diversity there. And it's nice to coexist with diversity. It's enriching, because if not, you just have one. Okay, this is the one and only way of doing it, and that can be dangerous. But yeah, in the beginning, a little bit more rooted. Like Prabhupada gave this example. You have in the beginning the first tender buds of the blossoms, whatever, buds of the vine of devotion. And they're very tender. They can be easily uprooted by wind. So you put a fence around. So the bud grows up and down, rooted and up. And when the bud grew to the point of gaining enough rootedness, it will grow above the fence and see, oh, there's a whole world of diversity. But at that point, it's ready for that because it's rooted enough. But before that, you need to just, okay, this is your world. But no, look here. But there is what's over the fence? You will discover that in time. We are growing in that direction. But meanwhile, get rooted. And then you will be able to not only see the diversity, but even appreciate and be nourished by that diversity in a way that enriches your understanding of everything. So, I went to a few other directions, but connected, hopefully. Thank you. Something else you would like to share? So far, we are navigating Guru Tattva waters. There are different other currents, but feel free if you want to jump to another river. It's okay. It doesn't need to be something connected to Guru Tattva. Jayadev?
Connected to Guru Tattva.
You already asked me in Berlin about Guru Tattva. I still remember.
Yes, and I'm still.
Again, the same question again, no problem.
No. You mentioned that siksha relationship is not something casual, and from what I understand, it maybe is not, and on the other hand, it is, because everything can be siksha or teaching us. Yeah, what I want to ask, or the question I have is, if I get into a siksha guru-disciple relationship, what are my responsibilities in that relationship? Does it come with responsibilities? In Diksha, I give some vows and things like that, and maybe I'm giving guru dakshin or whatever. So it's like
That's the main responsibility. Yeah, thank you.
Let's talk about money.
Yeah, let's go to the real stuff. Right? Let's go to the pocket. Let's go there.
So we're promoting a shiksha.
Of course, it's not all about money, but I remember once someone asked a devotee, he was giving a lecture, and someone asked, it was his guru actually, and the person said, Gurudev, it was a little bold question, but that came. Gurudev, are you more interested in my heart or in my pocket?
Wow.
Oops. But wait for the answer. And they will say, in both, because I know your heart is in your pocket now. Oops. Of course, not to abuse the instruction, but at sometimes, yeah, our whole being is there. So because I'm interested in your heart, actually, but your heart happens to be in your pocket, I'm interested in your pocket only because your heart is there. I don't want your pocket devoid of heart. I want your heart. You follow my point? So that's the whole idea, I don't know, in Christianity with the, how do you call it in English?
Alms.
The alms, or there's another word for the like monthly giving. It's not coming now. The ideal spirit is not like a mechanical, oh, I have to give my part, but it's like, it's a way of my sense of self is attached, invested into money. So I give a part of myself through that. It has to begin somewhere. That's ideal spirit. Of course, if you are not attached to that, you shouldn't be pushed to give money. So to say. I mean, nobody should push anyone to give money to begin with. The idea at the end of the day is our heart is the offering.
What if we are attached to other things, like persons or ideals or like that?
I will travel around the world with a cat, no problem. I will help him there. Again, at the end of the day, and in relation to that, by going to your question, I shouldn't say, okay, these are the commitments between. That's something that it's personally established. It's a mutual relationship. Again, it's a mutual agreement. It's not like, okay, there's the official. I know that in one sense, I don't know, in certain Vaishnava societies, there are official standards for initiation. But even in that case, I will make the case, I don't know, if you get initiated by your guru in ISKCON, let's say, and for regulative principles, 16 rounds, part of the standard. But I wouldn't say that's the only commitment, ideally. Because also I can fulfill those things, how to say, externally, but my heart is not fully there with my guru. So, you follow my point? I can do all that, but from which place? Which are the reasons? So ideally for me, again, I'm talking for me, how I think it works, at least for me. That has to be something very personal. One's commitments, one vows, one's responsibility, because everyone is different and everyone has different capacities. So I personally don't think that, okay, someone comes, Maharaj, I want you to be my Siksha Guru. Okay, here's the official list of standards for those aspiring to be my Siksha disciples. You agree? Signed, and we talk later. No, it's about like, okay, who you are. No, I don't know you. Let's know each other. And which is your situation, your life situation. And again, at the end of the day, at least in my mind, it's not so much about this is what you have to do. But for me, the commitment and the responsibility is more a commitment to the ideal, to the lifestyle. We are all trying to fall in love with Krishna, so to say. Okay, so try to lead a lifestyle which is coherent and honest with that. And whenever you fall short of that, let's be honest about that. So let's keep the integrity and the honesty, even in the falling down, so to say. That's part of the commitment. It's not that the commitment will fall down, but it's like probably we will have our. So try to, in that instability, try to remain stable in terms of being honest. No, maybe I haven't yet attained nishta, fixed, stable practice. Okay, let's at least be stable in being honest about my lack of stability. That's a stability to begin with. So yeah, I personally do not. Maybe in other groups or other gurus, I cannot talk for anyone else. I talk from. They may have a certain fixed standards. I will personally say it makes more sense to me for every relationship to be unique, because every person is unique. So from which place a person is coming, what's their situation, what's their needs, what's their capacities, what's their willingness, and what's the willingness of the guru as well, right? Because I don't know, some gurus may be, and I've seen that some gurus may be very expert in engaging the disciples in different service departments, and that's great. And many people would like to do something for the guru, but there are some other gurus who are more like living in a cave somewhere, and they don't have like a whole, how to say, department of engagement for people. And I'm not saying that's worse. This just as different. And there those gurus say, no, I'm giving you these instructions. I remember the day I was listening to an audio when someone asked Sridhar Maharaj, okay, we are so nourished by you, how we can serve you back. He basically said, whatever I'm sharing that touches you, try to embody that. End of the conversation. Which for me is the ideal reply in my case. I will. That's what I say when someone says me something like this, like how to pay you back. I don't want money. No, I don't need money, and I don't have like I'm not a very capable person of engaging a multitude of people and 300 service departments. I cannot provide that. So if you feel some gratitude for whatever you receive, try to embody that in your life and try to extend that to others. Which, of course, in one sense, is the most difficult thing to do. It's easier to do something. No, I give you 3,000 euro donation. That's easier. Don't tell me to just embody all that. Yeah, but that's it. That's it. So yeah, I think the arrangement should be very personal. No, I like the notion of radical personalism. So be very personal. No? It's a relationship between two unique individuals, so that has its own uniqueness. And my relationship with you and each one will be unique. So that's what comes to my mind. No? But at the end of the day, siksha, a relationship with the siksha guru, siksha means instruction, and that person is someone who somehow, ideally, with their example and teachings are inspiring us. So the way to reciprocate, I will say first, is again taking that seriously, letting that sink in my life, letting that affect me, and try to live those teachings as deeply as I can, as sustainably as I can, and of course open if some practical service is available and is required, having the willingness, but knowing that the most important thing is taking the instruction to heart, so to say. Like I always give the example of Srila Prabhupada. He didn't spend too much time with his guru, time-wise, like clockwise, not much. And he sometimes will say, my Gurudev, we talked about that some months ago, some weeks ago when we were celebrating his appearance day. And he will say, my Gurudev ordered me to preach in English and come to the West. But if you study the interaction, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur never ordered Prabhupada to do that. He never said, I order you. He suggested that to Prabhupada. It will be good if you do that. I mean, by saying that, I'm not downplaying anything. I'm on the contrary, I'm saying Prabhupada received a mere suggestion, but for him, it was an order. No, so he didn't hear a suggestion. A mere suggestion from my guru, oh, I take it so seriously, it becomes my life mission. I don't need my guru to tell me, I order you to, this is your life mission. This mere suggestion is enough. That means how willing he was to serve his guru. So that's a beautiful example of the longing of a disciple. I don't need my guru to tell me, want you in your life, just a suggestion becomes, wow. So hope that helps. Yeah, thank you. Someone was raising their hand. Oh yeah, Augustine.
For me, what you're describing, this aspiration to find such a person is so high. We have this word for soulmates. I know this one knows, but everyone knows what is the soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
So few of us are trying for a whole lifetime to find a close friend, maybe, or a life partner.
Mm-hmm.
So this relationship which you're describing, which is from nature, so closely related that one is getting to know each other on such a level that one can really connect and also fulfill this task of being a guru or disciple. Yeah, it's such a high aspiration. How and few of us not Shastra, we also know the description, if disciple is ripe, Krishna will supply such a person. So we can say, oh, thank you, I can have faith on this and just wait patiently and try my best. But still, for me, it feels what you're describing, the nature of these relationships is so difficult to find out in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm. There is no rush. That would be one answer. Because sometimes we practice bhakti in a very time pressured way. Like it has to be in this lifetime. Who say that? No, I mean I'm not saying that to become lazy, but I'm saying, the goal of life is such a broad, deep thing that we shouldn't in this lifetime I have to get everything done properly. That creates so much pressure. And you may take time. Prabhupada met his guru first time, and he took initiation from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur 10 years after meeting his guru first time. Just to give it an example. It's not like, okay, you met your guru, so after 6 months, who will be your guru now? Sometimes you see that among the bots. Oh, you've been going to the temple 6 months, so who will be your guru? No, I'm still, no, 6 months already. Come on. But Prabhupada counts on 10 years he waited. He was born as a Vaishnava. When he got initiation, he was in his 30s. So he waited more than 30 years being born as a Vaishnava to get initiation. Follow my point? I'm not saying everyone should be like that, but I'm just giving you an example of someone who is very prominent and close to most of us, to all of us, that it's not just, okay, has to be like this, has to be like that. So, and it doesn't mean that, of course, I'm speaking about this, but also it doesn't need to be, okay, my guru has to be, because sometimes we also idealize, okay, it has to be the perfect thing, has to be like this, and we already have our romanticized version of that. And maybe the actual guru that you need will come in a way that if you are too attached to your notion, you won't recognize that guru. So there has to be also willingness to let go of our ideas about not only guru, about everything. We have our ideas about who Krishna is. And one day Krishna will come as he is. And if you are too attached to your idea, you may not recognize Krishna. Like Srila Maharaj will say, Indra, he wanted to kill Krishna in the Govardhan Lila. I want to kill all the Brajavasis. But in the heavenly planets, it is said that Upendra is a manifestation of Krishna, and that appears as a relative of Indra, Upendra, not the small Indra. But when that Krishna, that form of God, so to say, appeared in his original form, Krishna, it was a more advanced form, Indra couldn't recognize it, and he attacked it. The Srila Maharaj will say the same. Sometimes we find a level of revelation, and if we become too attached to that, when that comes in a higher way, we may attack it while it's actually higher. But since we are too attached to it, it has to be this way. So yeah, we have to be open. No? I mean, we have to have this foundational trust. If I'm sincere, guidance will come. No? As they say, Guru will come when the disciple is there. No? And it may take some time. And it may come in ways we are not expecting. And maybe we have a connection with someone, and in time we develop some connection with someone else. It can happen. It has happened to me. It continues to happen to me. And it's okay. It's not, I don't feel that as a problem. No? And it gives you an idea of how nuanced the idea of Guru can be. Like once someone asked Srila Siddhar Maharaj, someone came to him with a little bit more like question, like who is more important, Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru? And he replied with common sense. He said, the one who is helping you the most. Common sense. It's not this or that or this, or whomever is helping you the most, that will be the most important at that time of your journey. Maybe at other time, someone else will be most important. But again, you are not betraying anyone if you are honest. It's just all complementary and teamwork for the same goal. So we should be I know devotees who are practicing for decades, 30, 40 years. And I recently went in New Zealand and met someone who was practicing for 45 years. And I know someone who asked people, who is your guru? As we talked the other day. Indeed, I have devotee friends that I know for a few years, and I don't know who is their guru. And it's fine. I don't need to know to relate to the person. Right? I relate to the person. Eventually, I may come to know or not. And this person told me, so I was not researching. Yeah, I've been practicing for 45 years, but I don't have a guru. And I said, okay. I mean, some particular reason, I said, no, I just haven't found that person yet. So I appreciated that. Again, I mean, it's not that she's leaving the practice, that she's saying that as an excuse not to. I mean, that is a very serious person. She's one of the most committed members of the community. Many of the initiated people in the community say that she's more serious than most of us who are initiated. But she's just, that has not happened yet, but she's not discouraged by that. So that's also an important point, because sometimes devotees will feel, I heard that okay, until you have a guru or initiated, your spiritual life has not begun yet. Very sensitive statement. Who am I to tell that to someone? What do I know about their inner world? How can I tell someone your spiritual life has not begun? And that's a problem, because then you will try to find a guru just to fit in. No, now my spiritual life began, right? And then you get relaxed, because now I'm initiated. As we say before, we take initiation as the conclusion, but initiation is the initiation, the beginning. So that may take time. Again, as long as we are honest on the path, we are already on the path. And Krishna says so many times, Navi bhakta pranashati, my devotee never perishes. Neha vikramanasusti pratyavayana vidyate. In this path, there is no loss, diminution. Try to be honest and sincere. Sincerity is invincible. Everything else, we have to trust Krishna. He's taking care of that. In some cases, it may happen quickly, it can happen slowly. It's not to compare our journeys. It has to be in whatever way it has to be. Don't get discouraged, Agustin. There is hope.
Now, modern times, we have this passionate expression of FOMO, fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. Yeah. Yeah, so that's important for us to realize we are not missing out. If we are honest and sincere, we are not missing out anything. There is much more awaiting for us, but also we shouldn't get in this anxiety, have to get everything now, because you can never get everything. There's always something more coming. So how I'm properly honoring what's coming to me today, September 11th. September 12th, we'll talk tomorrow. No, it's not that we will be able to encompass everything that Krishna wants to give us ever, because it's ever evolving. There's always something new coming every day. So it's properly honoring today, and that will warranty that tomorrow will be in the best possible way, and tomorrow the same, and so on and so forth. We became too much obsessed with the future and what will happen and how it will happen. Probably we start to be absent in the present moment, where the real thing is happening. So, you raised your hand, right,
Yes.
Nico?
Yes.
Okay.
I have the feeling that devotees are often limiting their self. But Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, I'm just paraphrasing because I'm a rascal, whatever the state of mind is when you leave the body, that you will reach.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, we shouldn't be super proud, like, oh, I'm a liberated soul or something like this. But when we tell ourselves all the time, oh, I'm not worth it, and the spiritual journey just start when I have a Diksha Guru and stuff like this, and we die in this consciousness, of course we will come back because I'm not worth, I have to make again around. So what is the border or the balance between saying I'm worth it, I'm trying my best, I'm more or less steady, I'm doing Ekadashi, I'm chanting my rounds, I'm reading Bhagavatam, and every time after Bhagavatam is said, who is reading this with faith is already delivered. So we are doing all this. So why panic? Why making pressure?
I agree with you. Why panic? Relax. Not relax to the point of laziness, but not go to the point of neurosis, right? Again, and I see that there is a lot of that. Sometimes we are too hard on ourselves and like create too much pressure. When Krishna says this about Yam Yam Bab Ishmarambaram, the verse you quoted, 8:6, like whatever state of consciousness you have, it's not like a verse to get terrified. But sometimes I've seen that sometimes whatever state you have when you leave your body, that there will go. Be careful. That's not the spirit, right? The idea is actually how you live your life. That's how you will end this life. It's not just that last moment, no. It's not like, okay, I try to be a good devotee, but maybe in the last moment a mosquito passes and I get distracted and leave my body, be a mosquito now. That's not the idea of the verse, but it's more like if you live your life in a certain way, probably you will die in that way. So take responsibility. It's an invitation for responsibility. But as I agree with you, we should be, if we are not cheating ourselves and trying to be sincere and honest in our practice, we should learn to be satisfied with that also. Not satisfied like I won't do anything else anymore, but more than this. But also not be all day thinking it's never enough, I should be doing more, and you really feel bad about yourself. No? Do you think that Krishna wants you to feel that way? That Krishna's enjoying or he's feeling so miserable about himself? I love that so much. It's like a sadist God or something. So that's not Krishna. So yeah, if we are doing what we can, there's a place to be grateful for also. Krishna, thank you for giving me the strength and the mercy to chant, to study, to follow this lifestyle. I know I can do better, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying as much as I can. So again, if we are honest and sincere, we know when we could do better. We know when we are really trying, and we also should know when we should sometimes stop trying so hard and sometimes balance with restoration or recreation. Krishna says in the chapter 6 of the Gita, yogi has to be balanced even in recreating himself, which it doesn't mean wild distraction. But it's not all about like, I don't know, every day that passes you have to sleep less, eat less, sense deprivation and this and that, and I'm like, I'm becoming more and more dysfunctional and disbalanced, and Krishna is not happy with that. Again, he says in the Gita, Susu Kam Kartum. Bhakti has to be performed with lots of joy, with lots of enthusiasm and inspiration. So we have to take responsibility for ourselves. What works for me at this stage of my life? Some devotees may, I don't know, may be able to fast. To give an example, I don't know, Janmashtami. Okay, I will fast till midnight for Janmashtami. I know devotees who may be able to do it, but will be the whole day disturbed by the fasting and their body or their minds, and it will be a full day absorption and meditation, not in Krishna, but in the prasada at midnight. So I will say to that person, you eat something. It's something, and then focus on what we are actually celebrating. Because if not, Janmashtami is not about reaching the goal of I fasted till midnight. Who cares? What you were thinking about during the fasting? You follow my point? Of course, this is not an excuse. Okay, with the blessing of Padmanabha Swami, then no fasting ever. Because no, it's not to abuse the idea. We have to be honest. So, but yeah, I agree with you. There's no reason to go basically crazy as a practitioner. No, like it's never enough. You are unworthy. You should do better. It's not a healthy way to practice. It's very much fear-oriented, intimidation-oriented, pressure-oriented, and that's like a pressure cooking pot. At one point, it's like, and I've seen sometimes many of these devotees that are very strict, no? Which is every time I hear the word strict, I'm like, what do you mean by that? And I'm like but it's too much. And I'm like, how much time will they be able to tolerate that? And many times after some time they disappear. What about that such a strict devotee? Imploded or exploded, boom, disappeared. So we don't want that, right? We want the practice to be sustainable in eternity. So that's an important question. How do I make my bhakti practice sustainable? Not on the short term, middle term, long term, eternal term. So I cannot be Raghunath Das Goswami in a weekend, right? Sometimes we hear these life stories and they're like, wow, this devotee doing this, feeling that. Oh man, this standard. You become inspired and maybe innocently start to imitate. And then you become dysfunctional after a few hours because you are not Raghunath Das Goswami probably. And you are not supposed to be Raghunath Das Goswami. It's not a problem. You are supposed to be you. That's a big problem for us mostly. Generally, we try to be someone else, to imitate, but no, be who you are. What's that? Accept who you are. Oh, that's difficult. As we talked the other day, sometimes we hate ourselves. So it's easier to just try to be Raghunath Das Goswami. As impossible as that is, it looks more possible than being myself, than accepting myself, even with my limitations and shortcomings. But that's what Krishna is saying in the Gita. I want you, being you, as imperfect as you are, but be authentic, be yourself. And from there we can work and we can refine the whole thing. So yeah, if you know in your heart that you are trying your best, you don't need to go beyond that line and push yourself beyond your limits to a point that it becomes really disturbing. You know? Like I was telling the other day, I don't know if it was here or in Switzerland. At this point, the lines blur. Too many lectures in the last week, so I don't know where I say that. But I think it was Switzerland. Because one of the attendants to a retreat we had there, she was a she was with me and a group of, we were 25 2 years ago. We did the Dandavat Parikram to Govardhan, Vrindavan. No? So we circumambulated Govardhan by Dandavat. It was hard, as you can imagine. It's hard doing it walking. Imagine doing it for 2 weeks, right? So I knew I was going to push myself beyond my usual comfort zone. I knew it will be painful. I knew it will be demanding. But at some point, I reached some days where it was too much, and my body was like, "Stop here. Now, if you continue, that's harm to your body. That's not healthy." So I had to stop. It's not like, no, I will do more effort. I will be more transcendent. No. My legs were begging for mercy. So I told that to a devotee who was somehow leading the retreat, and I told him, tomorrow I cannot go. My legs need 1 day of breathing. And he told me, Maharaj, yes, perfect. And he told me, honor your limitations. I like how he put it. Please honor your limitations. Again, I was not trying to take an excuse not to go. I was really not able to walk. So honor your limitations. There's a place to honor that, right? And to feel okay about that. You don't need to feel miserable about, I cannot go. It's my limited legs that are not transcendental enough. No, you try your best. You did an effort. It's clear. Now there's the result of your effort. So yeah, I think it's important to know when to make an effort, but also when to rest, when to recreate, when to push beyond our limits. It requires constant self-observation. I don't know if that helps. It's just an elaboration of what you say, basically. What you say was in itself clear. So I'm just repeating the same thing with other words, because it's an important point for us to have clear. So it's never enough how many times we have to repeat that. Yeah. And I cannot tell you how many devotees, very nice people, but they burnt out. And it's so sad because they burned out and were not able, I don't want anything to do with this bhakti thing anymore, because they think that's the only way to be a devotee. Just put pressure until you explode. That's not a sustainable formula. I like to say we are Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas relate to Vishnu. Vishnu is the maintainer, right? Brahma creator, Shiva destroyer, Vishnu maintainer. To maintain something is the most difficult thing. To create something, it's not easy. To destroy what you created is relatively easier. But to maintain what you created, that's a challenge. But that's the duty of Vishnu, and we are Vaishnavas. So we have to represent Vishnu's maintenance or sustainability. Vishnu is the god of sustainability. So as a Vaishnava, we have to represent Vishnu by living our life in a sustainable way. And again, life moves in different ways. It's not that it will be always like this, right? We all know that. Maybe we had some idea in the beginning, okay, this Krishna consciousness will be like this. Yes. And at times you will need to do one thing, and at times you will need to pay attention to this and to pay attention to, and that is all part of the journey. It's not that you are deviating from the original inspiration. No, you are learning that, oh, Krishna consciousness was broader and deeper and integrating more elements that I originally thought. So yeah, it's about chanting our rounds, about reading Bhagavad and following Ekadasi, but it's about everything ultimately. Integrating all our human dimensions and emotions and relationships and experience. All that is part of what it means to be a devotee. So yeah. And what's sustainable for one is not sustainable for the other. So we cannot also just compare and imitate, but we have to pay attention. What's sustainable for me now? No? How can I continue living this lifestyle that I'm choosing in a way that is healthy? And I'm choosing it. No, hopefully I'm choosing it. It's not just in autopilot or because everyone else is doing it, because it's just social pressure to fit in a group. No, I'm choosing it. Hopefully for the right reasons. So we have to be introspective about it. Okay, don't want to run too late, but Hari Vyasadev is raising his hand.
Just a short comment in connection to what you were saying right now. I really appreciate when you're giving the example of a tree, which grows upwards, but sometimes even has deeper roots than in comparison to.
Always. It's most trees grow more downwards than upwards.
So it just made me think about a quote by Carl. He says, the individual may strive after perfection, but must suffer from the opposite of his intentions for the sake of his completeness. So we have we're striving for very high goals, but in some sense, it's even good that we fail. Because perhaps that makes us more complete, perhaps even in Krishna's eyes, than just somebody who's perfect and, Raghunath Das Goswami in 1 weekend.
Which is not possible. So you cannot be Raghunath Das Goswami in a weekend. And Karyong will say also, you can only grow up to heaven when you have descended down to hell. A tree can go up or grow up if the roots have done hell, like implying you have to descend. Sometimes we are obsessed with ascending and transcending, but not so much with descending. Groundwork, descend into your depths, confront your shadow, all that things that feel like hell. I agree. All that will make for a more wholesome person. And we were talking about that with with a friend of mine, Jagannath Prabhu, some time ago, about that also, that sometimes we tend to, without bad intention, but we tend to over-idealize, whomever is a guru has to be seen as absolutely perfect in every aspect of his or her life. Because we have to nourish the faith of the disciples. And with good intention, we think like, what nourishes faith is to see everyone as that person as perfect. But that's, for me, we were talking, that creates the opposite effect. Because if my guru or my guide of all these personalities always were perfect, they have no ups and downs, no problems, how much I can relate to their example? Because I'm not there. So sometimes they will say all the gurus are Nitya Siddha coming from Golok Vrindavan. Really? Wow. Then we have no hope. And how much they can connect with my struggles and tests, because if they are all coming from spiritual world, they don't know what I'm going through. So how they will be able to guide me if they have no experience of what I'm going through? You follow my point? So I will say we need more and more examples of great personalities who went through all the mess that we are going through, and they came out or through in a way that we feel, I can relate to that. There's hope for me. We don't need to depict all these personalities as they never made a mistake, and if it seems there was a mistake, that was a lila. That was a pastime. Don't be offensive. Don't be offensive. Sometimes we take that too far. Like I remember, to give you an example, it's a silly example, nothing too great, but I was talking with a devotee, and he told me, of course, my Gurudev knows everything. He's perfect. He never makes a mistake. I was already like, okay. I don't want to interfere with his beliefs. And he said, no, but once he was given a class and he would want to quote a verse, and he was not remembering that verse. And he looked at me and asked, but I knew he was testing me. Because of course, he will always know every verse. And I internally was like, he was not testing you. He forgot the verse. And it's okay. It's okay, right? It doesn't make him less. And in one sense, even if you learn the life of someone who went through messiness and now is this beautiful person, we still may be going through some messiness, but you see they're going through that with honesty and integrity. that makes it all the more glorious in one sense. That's something that Sanatana Goswami comments in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. In a way, he's speaking about the Nitya Siddhas, the eternally liberated souls, and the Sadhana Siddhas, those who attain liberation through practice. And he kind of course, we cannot put a hierarchy here, who is better, but he kind of leans more toward the Sadhana Siddha. They are special because they have been gone through all these situations. The Nitya Siddhas were always there. I mean, again, we are not insulting them, not downplaying them, but because sometimes we highlight the opposite. Nitya Siddha is better. Why? In fact, someone asked once Srila Prabhupada, between Nitya Siddha and Sadhana Siddha, who is better? He said the important word there is Siddha. They are attained perfect. It doesn't matter. They were always there. They went through that. So don't get lost into the details. But also we can make a case for us. It's especially important to meet someone who is perfect. What's perfection at the end of the day? But who is at least we can see is very advanced. But they have gone through all the things that maybe we are presently going through. So of course they know what we're going through. They can relate to us. They can guide us from that place. And sometimes I will say, many people will get more benefit from a guide or a guru who is not extremely more advanced, because there may be too much fun in some other dimension that it may not be possible for them to relate fully to where we are. Someone who is slightly more advanced, or it may be more relatable to us. I'm talking in general. Again, I'm not giving here any absolute statement, but many times I've observed that some disciples are dealing with certain stuff in their lives, and their guru is very advanced, genuinely, and because of that, sometimes the disciples feel like a little bit like an abyss between. And sometimes we may need some people who are closer to us to understand and to accompany us on that. So, but yeah, I agree. Failure, mistakes, imperfection, brokenness, all that adds to the equation. Like Father Richard Rowe will say, no, we generally learn more, grow more by doing it wrong than by doing it right. Many times I do something right and I become more complacent. I'm doing it right. I'm good. I'm correct. I'm perfect. I'm bona fide. I'm great. I'm special. I'm superior. You do it wrong, you cannot go there, right? Hopefully you don't start to whip yourself either. Okay, I can learn from this mistake. And again, you go to the Bhagavatam, to our tradition. If you pay attention, there's so much messiness in the stories and in the examples. Even with Brahma and Indra, all these great personalities, and they do things that they're like, how can they do that? That's embarrassing. That's a mess. And again, it's not to criticize them, it's just to reflect like, oh, even great personalities can sometimes, what to speak of almost all of us, like normalizing messiness. Not to promote that, but to just normalize at some stages we will have all this stuff going on. No? Like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in his Madhurya Kadambini, he explains the 9 stages of bhakti from Shraddha to Prem. When he goes to Bhajana Kriya and Artha Nivritti, he speaks about Anishtita Bhajana Kriya, unstable practice of bhakti. And he mentions these 6 symptoms: Utsahamayi, Ghanatarala, Abhyudha Vikalpa, Vishaya Sangara, Niyama, Akshama, Tarangarangini. I won't go into the details now, but for example, initial enthusiasm, initial. Then honeymoon is over. And I start to struggle with the desires, and I'm up and down. I have difficulty in keeping my vows. I receive some material blessings from bhakti, my practice of bhakti, and become attached to that in the wrong way. All that messiness. He describes all of them, and all of them are embarrassing if you read them. It's like, and sometimes I joke with the devotees, I'm describing the first one, Utsahamai. Who has that? And everyone's like, number 2, like the soccer stadium, everyone's like, all of them, yes, I have them. But the interest, I mean, you can feel miserable and embarrassed. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. I have all that. Or you can understand Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is describing all those symptoms in the context of describing the journey of bhakti, the path of bhakti. So those symptoms are confirming that you are in the path. So you should celebrate that. Not to stay there forever, but at the same time to say, oh yeah, I can identify with all that. So somehow that confirms that I'm on the path. It's not the ultimate, the more mature goal, but it's a confirmation that I'm there. That there's a reason to celebrate rather than feeling guilty and ashamed and bringing the whip and right. So, and I can learn so much from all that. So yeah. So I think it's important to normalize those experiences rather than say, as I mentioned, radical personalism, sometimes we become very expert at stigmatizing what we should be normalizing. We should normalize going through all that instead of stigmatizing that. If you are doing that, whatever, you are Maya, that's not perfect, that's not this. Yeah, of course, I know that's not perfect, but I have to go through that to reach the next level, right? I cannot just, again, from Strada to Prem, and with the parachute, like landing. That would be spiritual bypass. It's not possible. You have to go through all the intermediate messiness and integrate all that in different layers and be a fully human, richly human person with all these layers properly integrated. Yeah. Still more hands raised?
It's okay. Stop.
Yeah, of course, if someone has to go, feel free. I don't want to kidnap anyone. But thank you for coming. Yeah, I'm streaming that in my YouTube channel, so it's there already. Yeah, just in case. It's okay. Pleasure. Thank you for coming. Okay.
Just having some notes on this topic of guru, and it's very interesting that we are, especially in our tradition, giving this intention to person guru a lot.
To what?
To person, guru as a person.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, this other side is also recommended in Bhagavatam, like you said, there are mostly 20 gurus forms where we can get actually instruction. And for us daily, actually the person guru is not that much there, actually not at all. But other forms like interesting, Lord Chaitanya is looking in grass and seeing guru, in tree, seeing guru. And for us, daily life, much easier to see guru in this way for me personally, even for my children, so many times. Guru is appearing, although they're my children. Teaching me a lot. Actually, the most. So I just wanted to.
Thank you. Yes, great that you gave that example, because sometimes parents will think, okay, only I have to teach my children. You have to, but you have to remember they will teach you a lot. And probably as an adult, you should have more learning capacities. Ideally, may not be the case. So ideally, you may be even learning more from your child than what your child is learning from you. And that's similar to guru disciple, as I mentioned in radical personalism. Ideally, the guru is more advanced than the disciple. And that means more advanced means you have more capacity to learn. So then you can make the argument the guru may be learning more from the disciple than the disciple from the guru. Not because the disciple is instructing his guru, but just because the guru has a great capacity to learn from anywhere. I mean, the disciple has some more limited capacity to learn, so maybe the guru is the one learning the most. So yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Again, we can have one guru, official human body diksha, siksha, but guru is a universal principle. The original guru is Krishna, and Krishna is everywhere. Right? In the parampara, Krishna comes first in the line, and Krishna is omnipresent. And Krishna is guru, guru is omnipresent. So yeah. Something else, because before we put the sharing to rest, we are already going beyond 2 hours. So yeah, it's fine. I'm not attached to a number, but I also want to be compassionate to your nervous system and body also. You Tattvadarshini, you were raising your hand a few times, I think.
Yeah, I just was thinking about these topics of pressure and what was mentioned to hurry up. On one hand, I feel like we have this idea of, okay, after this lifetime, I have to go back to Godhead.
Mhm.
And then what's then? Then it's like finished. So, and also he mentioned this goal topic. And on the other hand, it's also said we should, the Vaishnava, independent where you are, you just let me serve Krishna.
Yeah.
And so, how can I become in this life independent on how many more lifetimes I have? This is the story also with the Brahmana and the, what is the shoemaker in English? The shoemaker.
Shoemaker.
And who both were asking, please tell
Yeah.
me from Vishnu how many lifetimes
Yeah,
I have.
yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, and like as you explored in Davos, it's an ongoing process.
Mhm.
So we never come to an end. And to be honest with ourselves.
Don't get discouraged by that.
To be honest for myself, I want to go back. Actually, in a certain way, I have still this mukti desire.
Mhm.
So I don't want to get out of this terrible life. So is it that, or is it just a trigger for the false ego? I want to be best. Just to be honest, also, why actually do I have to hurry? Because actually,
Yeah.
it's required just to be in the now
Yeah.
and do my best for Krishna.
Yeah.
There's nothing more. My Guru Maharaj, before he left, he told to us disciples, "Oh, anyway, I will not stay long there. It's too boring for me. I have so many more plans and to do here." And I'm like, wow, his desires even to come back. So it's not about
Yeah.
going back and then everything is gone. So
Yeah,
I
again,
don't know. It's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, my point with this is when we say go back, come back, go there, be here, what's there here? At the end, it's not so much a geographical place, it's a state of consciousness. So if you have, Mahaprabhu will say, Mana Mora Vrindavan, my mind is Vrindavan. He will say. So he was in Jharikanda in the jungle in India, but no, he was in Vrindavan. No, that's the real experience. So the same is with spirit. What's spiritual world? What's the material world? One says a state of consciousness. You can be here in Germany and you can be in Vrindavan in your heart, and that's where you are. And so that's why it's saying in our tradition, a devotee doesn't care for liberation. We are not thinking, oh, I want to get out of here. What do you mean by here? If you mean by here by a certain way of thinking, and okay, that's another thing. I want to get out of this self-centered mentality. Okay, that's the terrible material world. But it's not that the material world, as we talked in Davos, is bad. That's it. Material energy. That's the Shakti of Krishna serving him. It's beautiful. It's a Vaishnavi. That's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said. Maya Shakti is a Vaishnavi. Do you want to commit Vaishnavi aparat and say this horrible material energy? I mean, so we say in Davos, right? Material energy is already serving Krishna. I'm not serving Krishna. No, sometimes I think that's the example we gave, right? Okay, I have a flower here, material energy. I will offer this flower to Krishna. I will do a favor to the flower by offering it to Krishna. Flower is material energy. Material energy is already serving Krishna. the flower is giving me a favor by allowing me to offer it, and through that I can offer myself to Krishna. Because the flower is already offered. The flower is material energy, which is already serving Krishna. I'm the only one missing the party. So material energy is doing me a favor by allowing to offer myself through. So my point is, we don't need to reject material energy to live, to get out of it. We need just to live a certain way of seeing things. That's the problem. That's we find so many verses in our tradition of great personalities saying, I don't care coming to this world over and over again. I don't care. Because that's not a problem anymore. Prabodhananda Saraswati will say, I mean, of course I'd say, you can tell, let's bring some argument. Krishna said in the Gita, Dukkalayama Sashvatam. This world is temporary and miserable. Ooh, that sounds heavy. Then you have Prabodhananda Saraswati, follower of Mahaprabhu. He says, Vishwam Purnam Sukhayate. The whole universe is filled with joy. So both are true depending how you are, where you are internally. It's not about a statement about planet Earth or the cosmos. It's about where are you living inside. You can be in hell, you can be in heaven. So, as you say, I mean, we are already doing bhakti, so there's no rush. You're already doing what you want to do forever. You want to do bhakti forever, you're already doing bhakti. You already arrived. You don't need to go anywhere else. You just need to continue to arrive deeper and deeper to the place you already are. Because we are not doing this to get something else. I'm not, as I said the other day, Brahman asked Prabhupada, what's the result of chanting Hare Krishna? He said, to chant more Hare Krishna. We're not doing this to do something different. So in one sense, you are already saved, as I mentioned in my last book. But I know that's a strong statement. Remember last year I was with Father Richard Rohr. He said something beautiful. He was speaking and they asked him, give a blessing, Father, please. And he said spontaneously, like, okay, let's stop losing all our time with thinking about if I'm saved or not. Let's put that discussion to rest once and for all so we can really be concerned with more important things. Like implying, if you are sincerely dedicated to the path, you're already on your way home. So stop thinking about when will happen, this lifetime has to be, no, blah, blah, blah. You're already saved. Now the real question is what I am saved for. Not what I'm saved from. What I am saved for. So that's the real question. How can I give myself now that I'm saved, that I received the opportunity of practicing bhakti and doing, I'm already doing what I want to do for eternity. I'm already there. Not to be proud or complacent, just to celebrate that and to go deeper into that forever, right? So that's a completely different perspective than just like, I have to get liberated from this horrible place and this lifetime. That's another world. But that's not our teaching. When we become so consumed by that joy of celebrating and serving and loving, somebody also will say that you won't even notice when you left your body because you were too busy loving and serving. And leave my body and going there and coming here. It's like, yeah, we are already there. We just need, it's a journey of, as I like to say, it's a journey of further arrival. You have already arrived, but you have to you just go deeper and deeper into that. As we talked in Davos, even when you officially attain Golok Vrindavan, still you continue growing there. It's not like there's nothing else to develop. You continue expanding your loving capacity. So that's what we are doing now. That's what we will continue to do for eternity. So what's the difference?
Wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. We should stop being concerned about that topic. Like when will happen in this lifetime, this blah blah. It will happen, it's already happening, and it will continue to happen in deeper degrees forever. right? So it's not like, okay, I'm not there yet, and once I'm there, I'm there. One says you're already there, but you never stop being there. You can always continue to go deeper into that. I know it's paradoxical, and we need to think about this from a different place. Instead of, okay, I'm here, and this lifetime I finished, comes the spaceship, takes me to Golok down. Okay, I'm there. I will be assigned. You are in department number 136, and you have this service. It doesn't work like that. Wherever we were to arrive, it starts here or nowhere at all. No, I mean, you will never serve Krishna in any particular relationship if that doesn't develop here. It's not like, okay, I'm leaving my body, I have no clue. I would like to love Radha and Krishna, but I trust that I will awaken in Golok Vrindavan and they will send me to my corresponding department and give me all the indications there. It doesn't work like that. That's something we choose. We have free will. That's a voluntary decision. I feel attracted. I want to love, serve in this particular way, and that has to be developed. It's already happening, even if we don't have any clear indication. In this case, okay, Madhurya, Rasa, Sakya, that's another point, but it's already happening, and it will continue to happen. But it's only here and now, or nowhere at all. If not, it's magical thinking. So. Yeah. Someone was once asked about a similar question, like, Gurudev, when will I get liberated from this world? And the answer was, when you stop asking that question. When you no longer care, that's the point. When you no longer care for that question, that means you are beyond that. That was the spirit. Or once also someone asked Srila Siddhar Maharaj, like, that was so funny. Someone went to Srila Siddhar Maharaj again, like with a calculator at hand. If I start in this lifetime my practice of bhakti, I don't know, maybe I started another lifetime. Let's say this lifetime. How many lifetimes will it take for me to attain the goal if I'm really serious? The God was like taking note of the number. I was kind of like surprised by the question itself. Like, so funny you have this concern again, because when we are talking, you shouldn't even think about that. But he replied, well, if you're serious practicing, started 3 lifetimes. Like he threw a number, and the devotee was in shock. 3 lifetimes? Like, that's a lot. And Srila Siddhartha was in shock himself. 3 lifetimes is a lot for you? With all that it's given to you, so everyone was in shock for their own unique reasons. So, yeah, that's the thing also, no? Like we sometimes know in one lifetime, what is one lifetime from the perspective of eternity, considering all the gifts that are already coming and are waiting for you. So one lifetime is just blinking, right? And once he also says, when someone was asking him this same question, like, when will I get out of, and he was like, why the rush? No? Where do we want to go if the practice is so nice? If the process is so nice, where do you want to go? Why the rushing? No? Like, learn to we have to learn to honor and be happy with what's coming to us now. No? Be happy, and even when we are not so happy, for whatever reason, still be grateful and appreciate what's still coming, despite other things that may be coming, which make us suffer, going through pain or difficulty. Okay, maybe we can put the sharing to rest and continue to hopefully internalize what we have been receiving. I'm including myself in the receiving also. So thanks so much. It was wonderful to meet you all. I thank Krishna for disrupting my schedule this year, and I end up being here, which was not in my plan. But there are a few people here that are to blame for that. Met me in Berlin some weeks ago, and somehow they dragged me through their affection. So that's how it works. No? So I'm very grateful for each one of you for coming here, your time, your energy, and of course, hoping it's not the last time, but of course, it's the beginning of a beautiful chapter of connection. So thank you so much for invitation, allowing me to serve in some way, and also I'm leaving. I'm taking my set of treasures from what I received from you. You were speaking before, Jadev, about dakshina. Don't be scared. I won't be asking for money at the end. Relax. But something that about dakshina that I quote in my first book at the end, Vishwanath, there's one verse in the Bhagavatam that speaks about dakshina. And the verse says that actually the ultimate dakshina is to offer one another at the end of a festival, to share with each other one's own realizations and experiences of joy. No? Well, that's the best gift to give one, the best donation. No? So I really like that conception of dakshina, which is not limited to paper in your pocket, so to say, but just sharing hearts. So hopefully we can, during the rest of these days, continue exchanging dakshina with one another, sharing our hearts. So thank you so much. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanam. Vanchakalpataruvischa kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo Ananta Koti Vaishnava